since I first read the book, Faces Rock, many years ago. Before I go into the introduction proper, I just like to tell a little story, which I just found out that this is Claire's first book launch. And I'm like, what? She has written so many books, so many stories. She's an award-winning author, and this is her first book launch. And so I'm afraid I didn't really do my best by her, Otherwise I would have primed her a little more, So I thought she would be like a veteran in this field. And so I'm so sorry for that. I have to put you through this. But she's a lawyer, and I'm sure she'll be able to handle this. And she's a writer, more important. Yeah. The other thing is that the other story I'm going to tell you is that this is actually a really strange publisher-writer relationship. In the sense that this is the first time I'm meeting Claire face to face, and the first time I'm talking to her. Most of us will be surprised. How come you've never seen her and talked to her face to face? It is unlike all the other publisher-writer relationship which I have with other authors, and we have done like 40, 50 authors probably. And again, I really don't know, because when Claire first wrote to me by email and said that she had a manuscript that she would like me to look at whether we want to publish it, I was like shell-shocked, because here was one of my most favorite authors, writing to me and asking whether I want to publish her. And because the boys had been missing for at least 8, 9 years, 10 years, at least 10 years, I thought this was a marvelous opportunity for our voice to surface again, and for the reading public to be able to hear what she had to say. And of course, when she wrote, apart from this novel that's being launched today, she actually wrote a short story specially for an anthology which I was doing, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah. So for me, it really is a privilege to be able to do this, and maybe because of that sort of respect and also that respect that I had for her, I didn't even dare to call her on the phone to talk to her. I said, let me do this through email in case I do something wrong. I said nothing wrong. So I said, okay, everything has to be through email. Yeah, and I'm glad to have met you. I'm glad to have, and I can assure you, that the publishing relationship was a very happy one actually, because she didn't sort of scold me for wanting to change some of the text or suggesting certain things, but she herself on her own asked certain things about whether to modify certain parts of the story from the first manuscript. I think and Paul would be the first to jump on me that, hey, the manuscript you submitted is different from the one that finally appeared, But I can assure you, Paul, that this is a much stronger manuscript. Yeah. Alright. So okay, I won't talk too much. I will just maybe hand the mic over to the floor over to Claire and let her talk a little bit about what inspired her to write the book and why suddenly after 10 years this came about and so on. Yeah. Claire.
I have to say I'm really not prepared for this at all. I thought I would just have to make a 5-minute speech and then screw off. But this has been a first for me in many ways. First book launch, and first time in publishing with a different publisher, and I couldn't have had a better publisher than Fong is extremely supportive compared to the previous publisher. So this has been extremely pleasant and learning experience for me. The idea for the book, of course, came from a real life incident. It was so rich in dramatic potential. It was just asking to be written about, but the genesis was really the Straits Times story. I don't know if you recall, the Straits Times reporter followed. Well, the book is about this China national who died in the swimming pool of someone who owns a house in Sentosa Cove. parents from China came out and they brought the ashes back to China. And the Straits Times reporter followed the parents back to China and wrote about their experiences. So it was extremely moving. It was very affecting. And I knew I wanted to write about it, but I couldn't write it from the point of view of a family because I didn't know anything about China. So I had to write about the people who knew about this dead girl in Singapore. And at that time, a lot of things were happening in Singapore as well. The growing income inequality, influx of foreigners. So all these things just dovetailed. I wanted to write something about Singapore. And to use this girl's death as a springboard for examining all these things about Singapore. So that was how it came about.
There were some other subplots in it, plots of how the authorities will look into this, look at this issue and so on. Were that inspired by your time in court or by looking at cases from Singapore, or just something that you imagine?
I'm not a court lawyer. In fact, I sit in my desk all day. But I read a lot of thrillers, so the police procedural aspect interested me. Then I also spoke to a pathologist from the Health Science Authority about the details of the death.
Okay. I'm going to keep this really very informal because, like I said, I didn't know that this was Claire's first book launch, and I thought she would have a speech all prepared and so on. So let's do it. Why don't we turn this a Q&A session where you guys can ask questions of Claire. Some of you may have read the earlier manuscript, the soft copy, but I think most of you have not. But maybe this is an opportunity to talk and to clarify things with Claire if you need to. Right? Is there anybody from the audience who would like to ask a question? I know there are many writers here who have always been dying to meet Claire because she's such seen as a reclusive person because she never appeared in the book launch. They don't know how to contact her. So maybe you can ask some questions.
I have a question. I'm with the Singapore Press Club. I'm from the Singapore Press Club, and that is, what were the lessons learned from this experience in writing this particular book that you have completed? And what will be the one experience that moved you the most in one of the chapters of the book? Or are there more?
Do you mean the publishing process? Or
No, the... Sorry, let me repeat the question again. And my question is, what are the lessons learned from this experience in writing this book? And secondly, are there one or more chapters that have left a deep impression on you personally as a writer?
I guess what he's saying is that, correct me if I'm wrong, what were the experiences that you had when you were writing this book? Experiences as in, I guess, maybe internal to you as you were writing it? Were there something that sort of came out of yourself internally? Is that what you're saying?
Sorry, maybe I can be more specific. Did you feel a sense of injustice being done to the dead girl's family in the process of how the court handled the whole thing, or Corona handled the whole issue?
no, not particularly.
Question. So, why did you choose to write fiction instead of a real life story?
Because I thought it came into contact with the policeman, the man whose house she died in, and the people they knew, the sort of ripple effects of the death. And I was trying to use it as a springboard to explore, the current tensions in Singapore society and all that. I don't know how successful the attempt is, but that was the intention.
Sorry, catching you said you wanted the tensions in Singapore society. So you cited income inequality. Were there other issues you explored? And how did you roughly do it quickly? Besides income inequality, what are the other things?
The wave of immigrants into Singapore, the changing landscape of Singapore, the changing physical landscape. And, I think at that time there was this big controversy about looking around. How you leave Singapore for a couple of years and come back, the whole place was completely different. Basically, it was about, what does it mean to belong to a country? What makes a country? I'm not claiming that the book was that profound, but those are the thoughts behind it.
Excellent. Thank you.
And I guess that some of the issues that income inequality and so on can be seen. You have to read the book actually. Yeah, that's why the book is written. But it comes about from the play between the relationship also between the investigating policeman and his superior, and the sensitivities because a rich family or a property developer is involved, and so how we're more sensitive towards it and so on. And of course also about this thing about knowing people, I know you, you know me, the guanxi, kind of stuff. Yeah. So you have to read the book actually to write.
Okay, just two simple questions. One, how did you arrive at the title of the book? Two, given your full-time job as a lawyer, how do you manage to juggle between, the full-time job and finding time to write a sustained narrative of this life? Okay.
I thought it would be too obvious to call it Sentosa Cove. So I chose Inlet because it seemed to me to be somehow related to the sea. As for where you find time to write, I'm supposed to be really want to write, you will find a way to do it. Most of the time I do it on weekends, sometimes late at night.
I guess as a publisher, when the title came out, the Inlet, I was also a little bit, I looked at it and said, why the Inlet? But yeah, Sentosa Cove, that would be too obvious, you don't want to draw too much attention there. But at the same time, Inlet is also seen as a place of calm, at least from my point of view, that you go into a harbor, a safe harbor where you can nest there. And to quite a big extent, Singapore is also a harbor, seen as a harbor. And of course, people come in here for safety, security, and but underneath all this, as in any society, there will be tensions at play. And I thought that the tensions that shown up in this book and so on played out very well. So yeah, it's what's under the society. Yeah, to me, as a publisher. Jen.
I'm wondering, I think I heard you say that you spent a couple of years away. Is that?
No, I meant if you leave Singapore for a couple of years or even a few months and you come back, you can find changed. I mean, like, something grew up, right? It could be demolished overnight.
Yeah. I was wondering if for you having time away or trips out was important to being able to see and write about Singapore, or whether you feel like it's essential for you to be here to write about it. Or neither.
Well, I studied overseas for 3 years, but after I came back, I started working. I hadn't lived abroad for any extended period of time, so no, I mean, living in Singapore and writing about it seems perfectly natural to me. I don't need any distance to think about it or write about it.
Oh, Felix.
Claire, how has your style changed over the years with this new novel compared to, say, fascist book?
Oh, it's much longer than actually, I think the biggest influence hasn't been books like American cable TV. I think over the past few years, American cable TV series have been tremendous and extremely exciting. So, shows like Wire, Breaking Bad, and all that, I think they're as good as anything being written in book form nowadays. So that was a very big influence. The long narrative format, the overlapping storylines, different points of view. And the novel form allows you to explore this kind of thing. Short story is too compressed.
Do you find it easier to write a novel, a sustained novel destination, or or short stories?
It really depends on the subject matter and what you're trying to write about. For the Inlet, because I wanted to tell it from so many different points of view, it had to be a novel.
Yeah. Can I just ask, how do you capture the different types of voices in the narrative? You seem to have quite a good ear for dialogue.
That's a funny remark, because I've been told that my dialogue is extremely unrealistic. You try to imagine the person speaking and how someone from that kind of background would talk. So you try to reproduce it that way.
Well, I do think it feels more authentic than perhaps the earlier works. I can imagine why they said that on the short stories.
Yeah, that's true. When I go back and read the audio work now, it seems a bit stilted.
And Ho-Fang, why should you buy this book?
Keep Ho-Fang alive.
so that you can understand how she uses the incidents to play out to show the issues that she's concerned about. Yeah. So I think every incident, to me at least, when I look at the different voices, every voice or every character in there portrays certain things, in the way they act in this book, in this novel. Yeah. So and if you sit down and think about it enough, you find that it really reflects contemporary society a lot. The kind of questions that we sometimes need to ask ourselves as well. Because for me, example, I'm always faced with this kind of things. If I imagine myself in the place of a policeman, if it's my son or if it's somebody I know for 20 years, who has committed a crime, and I'm supposed to be one to sort of haul him in, or what would I do? How would I feel? Would I treat him differently from somebody else? Yeah. And so these are questions that are always in every society. Yeah.
So why is it taking you 10 years to write this? Or what accounts for your absence in the past 10 years?
After my last book, someone approached me about writing a screenplay based on one of my short stories. So I spent, I think, a couple of years trying to write a screenplay which never got produced. And at my workplace at that time, there were a lot of upheavals and stuff. So I just stopped writing for a very long time. It's as simple as that.
I get a sense that as a writer, you're a very private person. But would you say that there's anything autobiographical in any of your work so far? And could you share maybe what you think is perhaps your most autobiographical one?
I wouldn't say any of the characters are autobiographical. Maybe some of their opinions, how they feel or think. Maybe there are certain incidents in your own life, but nothing strongly autobiographical. I mean, that's the work of a writer, isn't it? You take bits here and there and put it together.
Did you at any point in time speak to the guy who was involved or people who know him?
No, I never met any of them. I have to say this is strictly fictional. I was quite worried about libel and defamation issues. So it's pure fiction.
This is a question for both.
Yes.
For such an acclaimed writer as Claire, why then loves at all on the novel? I don't think I've seen such a sort of naked cover for a long time.
Oh. Well, I think, okay, that is it's a personal preference. Sometimes I prefer to have a book without blurbs because, well, if you have blurbs, I'd rather let the book stand on its own and let people buy it. And of course, sometimes the cynic would look at it and say, when there are blurbs, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. There are cynics who will say things like that. Yeah. So I would rather just leave it alone. For this particular book, at least. In fact, most, I would say, no, not all, but some. Yeah. Sorry, is that oh, sorry, I thought you wanted to ask a question.
Obviously, as Alvin said, you're very private and probably uncomfortable talking about yourself. So I just wanted to ask you, you mentioned Breaking Bad, why all those sources which probably very new to us to hear your other aspects of your life. So maybe can you talk a bit about other writers or other kind of influences, music, movies that you really love? Because I think that's very little to know about you, but maybe you can talk about the things that you love, then that will give us an idea of how you process your inspiration. So what are the things that you enjoy, you love to read and watch?
As I already mentioned, I love American cable TV. I think I've spent the past 10 years watching more TV than doing anything else. Terrible admission.
What about movies or music? What would you...
That's just that TV is so much better than movies nowadays. I almost stopped watching movies. The last film I saw that I really liked was Shane. And I think we should show you.
So you watch it on DVD?
Yeah.
Shane. Shane.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Sorry, can I just question? Seeing that one of the themes that you mentioned is on the low income equality,
the income equality in Singapore. And considering buying this book, perhaps I'm just wondering whether it's something close to your heart about the income disparity in Singapore and whether any of the proceeds might actually be going towards.
Well, even if it sells out and make $2,000.
You're a lawyer, right?
I thought you meant the proceeds of the book. I think income inequality is one of the pressing issues in Singapore today. I think it's very hard for a society to call itself humane or fair with this kind of income gap in Singapore. So I think something has to be done about it. The other story that really interested me was Chinese, was the PRC guy who was driving a Ferrari and had a horrific crash. I thought, that was also symptomatic. That was another example of the income gap in Singapore. And if I hadn't started with this story, I might have written about it.
Yes, Jen.
Do you ever think about writing a TV series?
I think the TV series is a very collaborative kind of thing. You probably have several writers writing the whole series. I haven't tried it before, so I don't know how it would work out. The thing about a novel is that it's a very private thing, you do it yourself. I wouldn't know how I would work in a collaborative kind of effort.
Can you imagine this book as a series?
I could see it as a movie if someone wants to adapt it.
Any more questions? Me?
You mentioned American cable TV, and you're lucky enough to be able to be with friend. So I'm just curious, could you share name titles of movies that you like on cable TV and why? Which parts fascinate you?
15 years ago. It had terrific dialogue, terrific characters, and then subsequently he wrote The Wire, 5 seasons of it. That was terrific as well. He also wrote a very good book called The Corner about drug dens in Baltimore. It was like a sociological study. The other major TV series that I like is Breaking Bad, of course. I can't wait for the last 8 episodes. The dialogue, the plotting, the acting, the themes. Like Breaking Bad is actually about, are we born bad, or what would you do to protect your family? It tackles really major themes in a way that I don't really find in contemporary fiction. Which is strange to say about TV, because everybody seems to think it's like a waste of time.
Do you for some being bored when you write your story, when you do your first manuscript, first draft? Is there another sounding board that you have that you throw the book out and the manuscript out?
Actually, no.
Nobody. Not even the husband or sorry.
My husband reads Dan Brown. My son reads novelizations of Xbox games. baking household. I don't have a favorite author, but I do have favorite books. I think probably Brian said Revisited was my favorite. Brian said Revisited was my favorite book. Great Gatsby, but after watching the movie, not so much. There's a French writer called Irene Nemirovsky. She wrote Sweet Frances, which is a terrific book.
It was very interesting just now when you said that the original inspiration for the book, you found the episode moving. And I find it interesting because for me, and this is of course my own personal perspective, the Claire Tam novel or short story always has this almost scrupulous avoidance of sentiment. And this is something that I admire actually, that it's difficult to develop any kind of easy sympathy for the characters. Sometimes, they're very unsympathetic, or sometimes even cynical and cruel and morally ambivalent. So I just wonder, is that sort of reflective of maybe a personal view of human nature, or is that something that you try to resist when you're writing characters? That you don't want to make them easy sympathetic.
Actually, I think it's a reflection of my personality. It's like that hair for hope from Chelsea recently. The principal saying that all the kids who shave their heads should wear wigs to school. So I was having a big argument with my son about it. He said that, if you shave by shaving your head, you show sympathy with people with cancer. It's to help them, it makes them feel better. People who have gone through chemotherapy and have lost all their hair. And I said, no, it wouldn't make me feel better. I'm not wading into anything here, but
Have you developed any kind of affection for any of the characters that you've imagined into existence? Against your will, maybe?
Actually, I don't go back and read my own work, so I don't really think about the characters once I finish the book.
But they must have been sort of walking around your head for a while before you started writing. Once it doesn't get out. Time's up.
Are there any further questions? Anyone?
Last one.
Oh, Felix.
So, since we've never seen you at book launch, some people might even think that you don't exist. That you're just a pseudonym for another writer. So why did you choose to make an appearance at this particular book launch?
Because actually, it was the publisher that I approached. The first one, Marshall Cavendish, my original publisher, rejected the manuscript because it's a fiction doesn't sell. The second publisher said the manuscript was strong enough. Who found was the only one who said he would take it on board. So I'm very conscious that he's going out on a limb here, and I don't want him to lose money on this venture if possible.
That's why you must like it. I can assure you it is really a good book. Yeah. I enjoyed it a lot. Anyone else? And there's more in it than just income inequality, in case you think that's the only social issue in there. Yeah. There's more in that actually. Alright, if not then maybe we have some time for